Hello everyone, myself Pratibha K. Today in math subject, we will be learning of grade 9 concept that is representing irrational numbers on number line and decimal expansion of real numbers. So after this session, you will be able to know how to represent irrational numbers on number line and decimal expansion of real numbers. So first, let us learn how to represent irrational numbers on the number line. So I will be teaching how to represent the first irrational number √2 on the number line. So √2 is an irrational number. So let us see how to represent √2 on the number line. So steps of construction of √2 on the number line. We all know how to represent integers on the number line, fractions on the number line, rational numbers on the number line. But how to represent √2? So which is an irrational. So how to? So let's start. So first let's draw a number line. So draw a line xy. So first we need to draw a line xy. At O, at 0, mark the point P, and at 1, mark the point T in this way. So draw the number line. So at Z, so it will be, I have taken negative as well as positive value. So at 0, this proper scaling has to be taken. So between each value when you're drawing the number line, since I have to show you how to do the construction, I have taken 1 centimeter is equal to 2 units. So my 1 centimeter is equal to scaling will be 2 units. So here I have taken the scaling. So I have to mark 0 here. The 0 as 1, it's taken as 0 is taken as the 0 is marked the point P and 1 is marked at the point A. So this is the first. So you will be drawing next. So let PA is equal to 1 centimeter. As I have told you, this will be P and to A will be equal to 1 centimeter. So 0 P to A will be 1 centimeter. The next one. So what you will be doing from A, measure an angle 90 degree. That is from A. From A, you will be measuring an angle 90 degree. That is keeping the number line as the base. So PAE. So you will be representing it as this PAE will be equal to your. So this is P, this is PA. And this thing here, this is 90 degrees. So this what you get is the 90 degrees. So this is, you have to keep the pointer over here. Okay, keep the pointer of the protractor at A, the pointer at the A, and you will mark the perpendicular. 90 degrees is also considered as the perpendicular. So you can measure an angle 90 degrees with keeping the line, number line as the base. So this is our first, third step. Next. So after that, we will see this is how what we got it. So after drawing the purpose. So here it is 90 degrees. So here we have 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees. This from here to here. So we represent in this way 90 degrees. So this is what we have, 90 degrees. Next. It's the next step. So we are done with the perpendicular. So the first step is done. Third step is done. We have marked the point PA, then we took a perpendicular. Next, see what to do. So now cut the perpendicular at B such that AB is equal to 1 centimeter. Now we have got a perpendicular, correct? So we have got this as a perpendicular. So we have this line as a perpendicular. Okay. So we have this line as perpendicular. Now cut the perpendicular at B such that AB is equal to 1 centimeter. That means in your compass, you have to take 1 centimeter measurement. So with taking 1 centimeter measurement, you have to cut this perpendicular from where? Not from anywhere. Keeping the pointer at A. So you will keep the pointer at A, pointer of the compass at A. Taking a measurement of 1 centimeter in a compass, keeping the pointer at A, you will cut the perpendicular which you have drawn just now. So you will get a arc. You will draw an arc at a distance of 1 centimeter from A. So what next? So next step. Then now join the point P and B. That means you have drawn a you have marked a point B at a distance of 1 centimeter from A, right? So this is our new point. We have marked that 1 centimeter as B. So this is this from here to here, it is 1 centimeter. Correct? This is 1 centimeter. Now what you have to do, we have joined. Next step is to join this B and P. Okay, joining this B and P. So that's the next step. Instead you're measuring 1 centimeter at a distance of 1 centimeter from the point A to B. So after doing that, we will join this point P and B. After joining P and B, how will we mark this √2 on the number line? We have to represent √2 on the number line. Next, what we will? Okay, now what type of triangle is this? What we have obtained here? So 190 degree. So we have obtained PAB as a triangle. What type of triangle? It is a right angle triangle. So using Pythagoras theorem, so we know that distance from P to A is 1 centimeter, A to B is 1 centimeter. So we know that distance from P to A is 1 centimeter. From here to here, 1 centimeter. And here to here also it is 1 centimeter, right? So how to do it? So here we have one P to B also, it is 1 centimeter. Okay. So we have a right angle triangle. So which becomes, what is the hypotenuse? Now for us, PB is the hypotenuse. This side, PB becomes our hypotenuse. So PB, so using Pythagoras theorem, it will be PB square. Square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. So other two sides are AB and BA. So using that Pythagoras theorem, this right angle triangle, so from triangle PAB, so by Pythagoras theorem, PB square is equal to PA square plus AB square. So PB square is equal to 1 square plus 1 square, that is 2. So PB is equal to √2 when we simplify. We get it. Now let us see. Now that means what did we get? We got this PB as √2. We got this PB as √2. So we got that PB as √2. And we got, show here, what is PB? So here, this we got it as √2. Okay, we got it as √2, PB as √2. Now, what we want to represent on this number line. On this number line, we want to represent. Okay, so we'll see where it falls on this number line. So we using Pythagoras theorem, we have found the value of PB. Now what to do? So after finding PB, now on the extended number line PA, from P, draw an arc of measure PB. Let it cut the extended line at C. So that means this PB, you got it as. So you got PB as √2. Now what they are saying now, on the extended number line. So this is the number line PA. This is extended this side. Draw an arc of measure PB. So for this measure on this number line PB. From P, so from P, you will, in your compass, you will take the measure of PB in your compass. Now, you will draw an arc over on this extended number line, PA extended, this side. So keeping the pointer where you will keep the pointer at P and you will draw an arc. So let's see where it cuts. Okay. So that's the next step. So you will keep the pointer at P and draw an arc. So point C represents the √2 on the number line. So you will keep the pointer. So take in your compass, you will take a measure of this measurement. here, this measurement you will take in a compass and keep the pointer over P, and you will cut this number line. This number line you will be cutting. Keeping the pointer on the right hand side, you will cut the number. So where it cuts the number line, that point we will mark it as C. So that is your root 2. That is your root 2. Now, what is the value of root 2? Root 2 is approximately, when you have learned how to find the square root of it. Square root of a number in grade 8 using the long division method will come as 1.141. So in this way, so it is obviously it is greater than 1, right? Yes. So we have represented root 2 on the number line. So this is how we represent root 2 on the number line. Similarly, we can represent root 3 on the number line. How we will find out? Again, you will do this root 2 again. At root 2, you will draw the perpendicular. You draw the perpendicular at root 2. Then that is 1 centimeter over here. You will keep the pointer over C and you will mark 1 centimeter on the perpendicular and draw this. Join this point. Sorry. Join this point. So distance from P to this new point, that will be marked over here. Somewhere it will come here. So that is your root 3. Similarly, root 4 will be from root 3 you will take. From root 3 you will draw perpendicular. So it continues in the same way. That's how you can draw the, you can represent the irrational number on the number line. So once, as you keep doing this in one diagram, what you get we call the square root spiral. So it represents the irrational number. So it is called the square root spiral. So that's about how to represent irrational number on the number line. So next, we will learn about the real numbers. That is, what are real numbers? Real numbers are the mixture of rational number and the irrational number. So now here we are going to learn how to represent a decimal expansion of real numbers. So here for collection of rational and irrational numbers together form a real numbers. So all this irrational numbers, rational numbers together form a group of real numbers. So bigger group is real number group when you compare to rational number group. Because in rational number, in real number, we have irrational number, something extra. Along with the rational number, we have irrational number. So real numbers are the collection of rational and irrational numbers. It's represented by letter R. So now we will be learning how to decimal expansion of real number. If a given real number is in the decimal form, how will you know that whether the given number is rational number or the irrational numbers? So that we will be learning. So just a glimpse on that. So if the decimal expansion of a real number, it is terminating. What is meant by terminating? It is ending somewhere, or ends after a finite number of steps, or ends after this finite number of steps. Such numbers are rational numbers. So if a decimal expansion is ending somewhere, like for example 0.875. So it's end somewhere. So such numbers are called rational numbers. So such real numbers are called the rational numbers. So next, when it's called an irrational numbers, or when it's in other form, how it will be an rational number. If the decimal expansion of a real number is non-terminating, it is not terminating, but it is non-terminating. It is not ending somewhere. But what happens? It will not end, but it will repeat or recurring. Non-terminating and recurring, such numbers are also rational numbers. So under two conditions, a decimal number becomes a rational number. Under first condition is either the decimal expansion is terminating, that means ending somewhere. If the decimal expansion is non-terminating, then the other decimal numbers has to be repeating. Recurring in the sense repeating. For example, 1 by 3 is equal to the decimal expansion of 1 by 3. You can check it as 0.3333. So this is a rational number. Why? It is decimal form is not ending, but the repeating digits are the same. So the decimal numbers are the same here. So it is a rational number. So the next one, if the decimal expansion of a real number is the non-terminating and non-recurring, such numbers are irrational numbers. Means you do the decimal expansion of a number, but it is not ending somewhere, right? And it is not repeating also. In the previous two examples, we had, see here 1 by 7, 0.142857. Again, 142857. So it will continue 142857. So it will continue when you divide 1 by 7. But if these two cases doesn't happen, then such numbers are also called as irrational numbers. If it's non-terminating, non-terminating means it's not ending and it is not repeating also. Such numbers are called irrational numbers. So for example, these are the few examples, 0.505005000. So it continues to 5004300. So these are the few examples that we have. For example, root 2, root 3, 1.1731. So it goes in that way. So all these are irrational numbers. So that's all for today's session. So in today's session, we have learned the two concepts, how to represent irrational numbers on the number line and decimal expansion of rational numbers. So thank you. Let's continue in the next session.